Hey there, it's Brittany Chavers, and I am back with Jesse James Beads and this Market Fresh mini mix in Bing Cherry. I have not used this one before, and it is super yummy. A cherry is one of my favorite flavors, so I had to bust into it. We're going to be making 5 pairs of earrings from simple to a little bit less than simple. So I'm going to get started. We're using 3 different types of wire today and some findings, but you should be able to adjust this to whatever wire and supplies you have in your stash. So the first earring that we're going to be making today is one of the more simple earrings. I'm going to grab this little glass pearl, a crystal, 3 bead caps, 2 in this flower petal look and 1 in this more filigree look, and a tiny little crystal rondelle. Also have a ball head pin, and I'm just going to start stacking my beads on. I am going to put on my tiny rondelle at the bottom, then one of my flower bead caps, my pearl, my other flower bead cap, and then my teardrop. And then on the top, I'm going to put my final bead cap. And this is the stack that we're going with today. Nothing better than a 2-minute pair of earrings. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to do a simple loop today. There are a couple different ways to do a simple loop, but the way I'm going to be doing it today is almost like we're starting a wire wrapped loop. I bend back, I reposition my pliers, come back over, and that creates half of that loop. I'm going to go ahead and pull that tail toward the back, and I'm going to bend that loop down toward my earring a little bit. It was a little too high up, and so you can see we have a loop and a tail. What I'm going to do is just snip off that tail, and then I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep repositioning that loop until I have the look I want. And as you curl that toward your beads, it actually locks your beads in place so they're not wobbling around. There is a little tiny bit of a tail there, and I'm just going to snip it. And there we go. We'll just put on an ear wire. Swing that ear wire open. Put on our drop and close it up. Simple, but super impactful. You can wear this for so many different occasions. That red is just so yummy. And here is the pair. Next, we're going to be using a similar bead, but we're going to invert it. I'm going to take the side facing down. I have 2 more of these bead caps, a crystal rondelle spacer, a crystal, and a small rondelle. And then I'm going to put on one of the bead caps facing this bead, then my crystal rondelle spacer, and then my bead cap facing the other way. So we're kind of creating almost like a crown on that bead. Then I'm going to put on my little faceted crystal and my rondelle. And I'm going to do that same simple loop, but I'm going to show you a different way. This way we just bend the wire 90 degrees, cut it to about 1/4 or about 1/2 inch. Take our pliers and then wrap back toward our beads. And there is our earring. And there is our pair. Super blingy, very, very sparkly. Next pair is pretty easy as well. We're going to take this little metal heart, super ornate, so cute, a glass bead, a rondelle, another one of the crystal rondelle spacers, and another one of these faceted glass beads. I'm going to take a ball head pin, and I'm going to slide on my small crystal rondelle, then my heart. You can do a simple loop at the top here, but I am going to wire wrap this one. Just bend that back, reposition and bend forward, and pull that tail around. And then I always try and get that loop as close to my bead as possible. I'm going to hold that loop with my pliers and then take another set of pliers and come and wrap that wire back around itself. And you can do that as many times as you're able, or maybe just once or twice, whichever one you prefer. And then I'm just going to take my nippers and snip, and then I'm going to take some smaller pliers and kind of just tuck that little end in there. There we go. So that's part of our drop. And I have some 22 gauge German style wire, and I'm going to do a simple loop just like that, and then I am going to trim that loop. Open that up, slide on our heart, and then close that back up. And then I am just going to pile on the rest of my beads. So I have this gold, this glass bead, my crystal rondelle spacer, and then my faceted crystal. And I will again just make a simple loop at the top. And there is pair 3. So cute. Perfect for Valentine's Day. Only 2 months away. Next, this is our longest earring, and I'm going to be using 3 of these crystal rondelles, 2 in the solid red, 1 in the see-through red, and then 1 of the teardrops. I also have 3 of these bead caps. I am going to take a ball head pin, put on a bead cap, and our teardrop, and then I'm going to do a wire wrapped loop here, but again you can do that simple loop if you'd like. Take my pliers and wrap that wire around. We'll snip here, and then I have some 20 gauge artistic wire, and I'm going to do a simple loop. And I am just going to open that up and put it on our drop. And then close it. And then I'm going to take 1 of my bead caps and layer on my rondelles. And then put my last bead cap on. And then we'll do 1 more simple loop at the top, securing all those beads in place, and then we'll snip. And here, oh my gosh, those are so pretty. Here is pair 4. So we've already got 4 sparkly pieces. This next one is a little more metal heavy. I am going to take the metal spacer that has a flower on both sides. I have 2 of these large hole beads and 1 more glass bead. So I'm going to take some 24 gauge artistic wire, and I'm going to feed on my rondelle, and I am going to bring both pieces up to the top and wrap my shorter piece around my larger piece. I've done similar things like this in the past, but this earring will be a little different. And I always love showing different ways to focus on beads in different configurations. So I am going to snip that off. And then I'm going to do a wire wrapped loop, and then we'll wrap all the way down to the bead and just wrap down the wire that was already on there. You just kind of reposition as needed. We aren't going to see this part, so you don't even need to do this much, but if you are going to see this part, that's an interesting way to display your messy wire wraps. So whichever way you want the bead to hang, sideways or with the flower showing. Gonna go ahead and put that aside for just a moment. I'm gonna take some 22 gauge German style wire and create a loop. I'm just gonna open that up and hook that onto my dangle and close that right back up. Then I'm going to put on my 2 large hole beads, and you'll see that this large hole bead goes all the way down, so you're not seeing any of that wire wrapping, but it looks kind of almost tribal or just really nice, like metal earring. And then we're going to put on the second one and then the glass on top. Okay, they're moving around a little bit right now like this, but we don't want that. So what I'm going to do is do a wire wrapped loop at the top, making sure that I'm holding my wire right up against my glass bead, making my wire wrapped loop, and I'm going to fold that down. They're still moving around, but we want to hold those in place so we can lock them in with our wire wraps. So I'm just going to hold my little loop, and then I'm going to wrap several times here, just making sure that those beads aren't going anywhere. All right. And here is pair 5. Super classic. We'll go with just about anything because the metal is so neutral. We got 5 pairs out of the Market Fresh mini mix, but look, there are a bunch more beads in there, some tassels, and some and a charm. So you can make more items from a mix. You got 5 beautiful pairs that you can give away or sell, and the sky's the limit. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. I'll see you next time, and thank you to Jessie James Beads for having me back. Bye-bye.